Rebecca, we were pretty much surprised by the reaction of German and also Austrian representatives of the governments who were not supportive of the American strengthening of the sanctions, which have taken place recently. Also an unexpected move, but we already found out that's because the American politicians didn't want that the sanction would be revised or removed by the US president. But this reaction from the European politicians was pretty surprising. Can you explain? Because there is a complexity and confusion.
So I was, first of all, surprised by the huge majority in the Senate for the sanctions. When I read about it, I found out that they decided on the sanctions on the one hand because of the meddling of Russia in the US elections. On the other hand, they wanted to strengthen the US profile in solidarity with Ukraine and Europe towards Russia. So I was really surprised about the reaction, the tough reaction by two social democrats, Chancellor Merkel from Austria and German's Foreign Affairs Minister Gabriel. So they are always seen as close to the Gazprom empire. They have close friends like Chancellor Schröder. So it was a surprise, but not only a surprise. And the real surprise came some hours later when Chancellor Merkel also said that she has doubts on the decision in the Senate. This is so strange because until now everybody was wondering whether we can still rely in Europe and in NATO on the position of the United States towards Russia after Trump became president. Now the Senate is trying to strengthen the sanctions, and the Senate is trying to curb the power of Trump when it comes to Russia sanctions, and the Europeans are protesting. This is really bizarre. Huh?
Do you have any idea? I mean, it's not about that we would like to guess, but coming to my mind, is there any maybe discussion of any particular new deal? So is there any particular process taking place that maybe there would be this talk? So like how we generally can explain, it's not just can be explained by, say, German elections, because
no, it's about the Nord Stream 2 project, I would say. There is a big interest in the Nord Stream 2 project in Germany. I thought so far that Chancellor Merkel would be a bit more sensitive towards the EU neighbours, especially in the East and Denmark, for example. We have many countries against Nord Stream 2 because they see that there is a kind of German-Russian gas empire or gas monopoly growing, and they don't want it. They don't want to increase dependency on Russian gas. Same is in the European Commission. There are many doubts on Nord Stream 2, but now in a reaction to the Senate's vote, Merkel comes out as obviously a supporter of Nord Stream 2. I think it's very damaging for the German reputation. And I think the Germans should understand that sometimes they really have to respect a European interest and not only their own narrow economic interest in their industry. I don't know, but so from my experience, we do not need the gas now. Why should we weaken the sanctions regime towards Russia by now organizing a gas monopoly in between German and Russian companies?
And overall, do you have the feeling in German establishment that now particularly there is some idea to ease or to have the closer cooperation with Russia behind what we've just discussed? Because, there is always this issue, but sometimes this situation is more or less stable. There is always this will, but there is always an agreement. Can we speak about any kind of shift?
we will see maybe some new nuances in these strategies towards Russia during the G20 summit. But so according to what I see, there is not a single reason to change the sanctions strategy towards Russia. We can always talk, but if there are no changes on the ground, so not in Donbass, not in Syria, for example, then why to change our strategy?